Hi, I'm Sabit Abbasi with the DuPage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Each month we talk about each month there's a different emergency preparedness theme. And for this month it's pet preparedness. So I have here with me Dr. Todd Ferrone. He's the veterinarian administrator for the DuPage County Animal Care and Control. Welcome, Dr. Ferrone.
Thank you, Sabit.
So before we get started into the discussion of emergency preparedness for pets, what I thought we'd do is talk a little bit about, if you could please talk a little bit about what DuPage Animal Care and Control does on a regular day-to-day basis.
Well, we serve several functions. Our primary function is rabies control in DuPage County. And we also serve as a place where people who can no longer care for their pets can bring them, and we will take them and do our best to rehome them for people. We also have 4 animal control officers that go out in the county and pick up stray animals. They actually do a variety of things. They assist police when needed, when there's an animal involved. And so that's pretty much everything that goes on during the day.
So it sounds like you guys are, that DuPage Animal Care and Control goes all over the county.
Our jurisdiction is unincorporated DuPage County, but we are here to assist all the municipalities in the event that they require it. And all they need to do is call us and request an assist, and we go.
Great, great. So, when we talk to our residents, one of the things we encourage them to do is have an emergency supply kit with extra food, water, and that type of thing. Now, what would a resident who owns a pet, what are some of the things they would need to include in an emergency supply kit?
Well, number one would be at least 3 days of food and water.
Mm-hmm.
If their pet is medicated regularly, say they're diabetic and they receive insulin shots once or twice a day, then they need to make sure they have a fresh supply of medication with them. All the pet's medical records should also be included in a plastic bag so that they're not damaged should things get wet. They need to have all their pets' vaccination records. In the event that there is an evacuation required and they would have to take their pet to another shelter, the shelter's going to want to know what vaccinations the animal has had and how recently, so that they can protect everybody that comes in, and vaccinations will be administered as needed to those animals that come in that are not current on their vaccinations. A form of identification, collar, ID tag, rabies tag. If you need to have a leash, if your dog wears a harness, you need to have a harness also. A good thing to have is a picture of yourself or your family members with the pet. So if you're separated and you are looking for your pet and you find a pet that looks to be yours, you can go, yeah, here's a picture of me with my pet. Ideally, and I think microchipping is a more permanent form of identification, and that any records you have of microchipping, adoption, any proof of ownership is critical in the event you should get separated from your pet.
You mentioned microchipping. Can you tell our viewers what that is, or what that constitutes? Is it like a once in a lifetime type thing?
Certainly. What a microchip is, it's a very small radio chip that's embedded between the shoulder blades. A lot of people think it's like a low jack mechanism, so you can track where your pet is. That's not what it does. It responds to a chip reader, and it gives you the number of the chip, and that number is permanently assigned to the owner of the animal. So we do microchipping for the public. It's $15. You can come anytime. The chip's embedded. You get a form, you fill it out, you send it to the microchip company, then that pet is permanently registered to you. So any animal that comes into the shelter, we scan them. So if they have a chip, we can track the owner down. So in the event of an emergency, again, if you're separated from your pet, they can scan it, they can call the chip company, they'll have your name and your address, and that really will help towards getting reunited with your pet.
So it sounds like this is a very easy way for them to be able to identify the pet and the pet owner by this little device that's...
Right, and it can't be lost because it's embedded under the skin, so it's permanent form of identification.
Great, great. Now the other thing we talk to our residents about is making a plan. What are other types of emergencies and plans that residents can plan for in case something happens?
Well, in the event of an emergency, there are two ways to go. Is it something where you can stay home with your pet, or do you have to evacuate with your pet? So if it's a situation where you need to evacuate, there are a lot of pet-friendly hotels in DuPage County. So you can call ahead and tell them what kind of animals you have, what your situation is, and in a lot of situations, they will go ahead and let you come and stay. There are a lot of boarding facilities in DuPage County also that you can be in contact with. It's always a good idea to have a pet care buddy system set up with a neighbor, if possible. So if you're at work and you can't get back to your house and their animals do need to be evacuated, you've got it set up with them that they can go ahead and evacuate the animals for you, and you should have something set up where you can contact them, or you have a designated meeting place where you can go and recover your animals from them. An agreement with friends or family that they can take you and your pets in for as long a period of time as you need in the event of an emergency is also a good idea. At your home, a lot of people have, for the fire department, in the event their house catches on fire, they've got a pet tag on the door. And those are a good idea, because if there is an emergency, rescue personnel can go to the house, they can see how many pets there are, what kind there are. And if you have those and you do leave the house with your pets, you do need to write on there that you evacuated with your pets, so that time isn't wasted looking for your pets in the house.
So it sounds like having a buddy system, or having pre-identified locations where you can take your pets to is very beneficial.
It's absolutely.
Great, great. And that was something, during the Hurricane Katrina, that was something of concern. People, when they had to evacuate, they didn't know where to take the pet, or they wouldn't leave because they were concerned about their safety of their pet. So that's something, and the other thing you talked about, microchipping, that's something, we encourage our residents to be informed of the different things that are out there. So sometimes, during thunderstorms or different activities of that sort, pets get really scared and they feel, anxious and all that. What are some things that could be done?
Well, if your pet has a real serious reaction to loud noises and thunderstorms, if you're aware of that, you can speak with your veterinarian about some kind of tranquilizer to give. The problem with that is you don't always know when a thunderstorm is coming, as opposed to the fireworks on the 4th of July. Those are coming. A lot of dogs are just as afraid of those. Try and sit quietly with the dog, try to calm them as best you can. Distract them, play with them, perhaps put on some music in the house that's loud. Part of what they react to is not just the sound, but the change in pressure and everything that's associated with a thunderstorm.
So it sounds like the overall environment is very important. So even if there's thunderstorms outside, inside the house, you could do other things to keep them calm.
Yes, you can try, and they do make a product called Thunder Shirts, which are used. We use them at the shelter for dogs that are extremely stressed. It's just a tight fitting. It looks kind of like a vest, and that's supposed to help calm them down.
Great. So we've talked about being informed, and that's the third step that we also talked to residents about is be informed. The last step we talk about is getting involved in their community, or learning different things that they could do to help themselves and their families. So what are some things that residents, especially pet owners, could do to get involved in the community?
Well, at DuPage County Animal Control, we have a volunteer program, and we're always looking for new volunteers. That involves, if you would like to volunteer with us, there's a brief orientation that you need to go through, and then some training as far as working with the dogs and cats. And a lot of those volunteers come over and walk dogs and provide enrichment activities for both the dogs and the cats. Mm-hmm. At the shelter, we are currently developing a volunteer database for individuals that we will hope will help us out in the event of an emergency, that we can call, because if we do need to set up a temporary shelter, we will need people to help staff that. Mm-hmm. As far as other opportunities in the community, there are a lot of rescue organizations. There are other humane societies in the area that are also almost always looking for volunteers. Fostering opportunities in those situations, you apply and you receive a license, and you can help raise orphan kittens and animals from the shelter that need to get out because it's just too stressful a situation there. Mm-hmm. They come to your home and they stay until we can find a suitable adopter for them. And those are really the main ways people can get involved with the animal community.
Sounds like there are so many different options. It's just a matter of reaching out to the DuPage Animal Care and Control and finding out ways of getting involved. So it's, we've talked about getting a kit, making a plan, and being informed, and those are some of the steps that not only applies to residents but also to their pets for their safety and their well-being. So again, I'm Sabit Abbasi with the DuPage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, and I'm here with Dr. Ferrone, he's the veterinarian administrator at the DuPage County Animal Care and Control. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, you're certainly welcome. Thank you.